Well, for our second question, several of you have mentioned the inner workings of the board. If elected, what specifically will you do to improve the inner workings of the board? And our question begins with Mr. Lawrence.
Well, I think the first thing I would do would be bring the open forum back to the council meetings. I think it's important to hear what the residents are saying. No matter what comment they want to make, even at election time. I know that there's been some comment of certain individuals have gotten up and wanted to say something. I think if you're an elected official, people have every right to ask you any question that they want to. And as an elected official, you have to be held to a higher standard. I think some of the things that have gone on, the way that people have been treated when they get up to make a statement, and the gavel drops and they're told to sit down rudely, is unacceptable for a elected official. And when elected, I will make sure that that does not happen. Thank you.
Commissioner Wolf.
You know, the workings of the board, I think, are fine. You know, there's some disagreements amongst us, but we're all elected here to do a job for the county, and sometimes we see it as doing things differently than one another. Today, I thought we had a great, real productive meeting. You know, and before the meeting, we're telling jokes and stuff. I think the board inner workings are just fine. To comment on the public comment, people can come up and make comments anytime they want to. But when you're going to march people up there at taxpayer expense, taxpayer-funded cameras to promote candidates or certain statements, I don't think that's not our role in government. I think it's meant for the county business, and that's it. Thank you.
Ms. Barber.
I do think, at least from the public perspective, from somebody who is watching the workings on the board, it could be improved. The key is having respectful dialogue among each other, being willing to ask tough questions, but also be able to listen to the answers, whether you like them or not. And the goal is to try and find some consensus. We're all from different districts. We're going to have different ideas and different thoughts of what should be done and how it should be done, which is why we're split into districts. But it can be done in a respectful, thoughtful manner that actually makes things more efficient over the long run.
Commissioner Menden.
One thing that I like in the county is this, before I came here, I can't take credit for this, but all these advisory groups we have, I think it's close to 50, 60 of them. And to me, they're the people that, and they're all made up pretty much of citizens. They pretty much are the ones that I think set the direction or the priorities of the county, whether it's criminal justice, whether it's the task force, or whether it's the fish or the scale. You know, it goes on and on and on. And I really do think, I mean, a lot of them are on the park board, we all sit on quite a few of these. And let them set the direction, and they come up with the priorities, what they think is right. So I definitely want to promote that as much as possible. And then fish, like John said, that concept of people helping people, government take the back burner, I like that. I can mention a few.
Commissioner Marschall.
Thank you. I think there's a couple statements I'd like to make. First of all, anybody that thinks that we are operating well is looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, because communication is the key, and to communicate the opinions that we have and ask people to come and talk to us, we can't do that and then cut off input. So that's one thing. I think that if we look at the facts, we look at fairness, we look at common sense when we talk about the issues, that is first and foremost. There is a learning curve to this job because we deal with a lot of aspects of county government. People who come on with little or no experience of the county need to accept that they may not know everything there is to know yet about Scott County and how county government works. And there's nothing wrong with that because we all start at some point as a new person. But to assume that we know all the answers and that we have not tried certain things in the past, and therefore it's a new idea, and therefore we should continue down the same path or a new path. It's all communication. We need to talk to each other and be aware of what we're doing.
Commissioner Ulrich.
The remember talking to our former county administrator, Dave Lemont, about what has been going on in the county, and I remember saying to him, you know, all the things I've done as a county commissioner, I'm most proud of the fact that I stood up and fought for Gary Sheldon. There were 29 pages of allegations that were leveled against him, but it was a secret, petty agenda by 3 commissioners. They violated the open meeting law, they worked behind the scenes, and they roped in a county staff person, and it was a mess. Star Tribune referred to it as being a circus in Scott County. And I have to say, I apologize that we gave the impression of politics as usual, but I want to let you know that I'm proud that I fought for Gary Sheldon, and I'd do it again. And if I see this kind of action again, I'll fight again. And I'd like to see much better relations, but sometimes you just got to stand up and fight.
Mr. Kucera?
I believe some of the problems with the inner workings of the board, I believe is the way the question was worded, is there's a lack of trust and respect. And now that I've had some time to think about my goals, I would like to return that trust and respect to the board by being a full-time commissioner and participate in all of my committee assignments. So the first district, for the first time in 14 years, would have a representative at the committee assignments that are handed out. Everyone has to pull their weight on the board. Otherwise, the rest of the board has to do more work. At the committee commissioner reports, 98–99% of the time, our current commissioner says nothing to report, which translates, and I have done nothing. I have been to no committees. I have been to none of my committee assignments. That would change. That would change with me.
Commissioner Wagner?
If everything my opponent, Mr. Kucera, said was true, that I don't do anything, I would never be here as long as I have been. You can't trick, you can't fool the people of District 1. They are very much, they know each other, they talk to each other. If Wagner was truly not doing his job, I wouldn't be here. And as for the dynamics on the board, you have 5 very different personalities on this board. This is the way it works. We're very passionate about our districts, what we feel is right for our districts. That's what happens when you get 5 people. And it's simply the dynamics of it. If you think we're so dysfunctional, I invited Shannon and Becky, come on to one of our tour buses. There's nobody fighting, there's nobody arguing. We sat down, like Commissioner Wolf said at the beginning of the last meeting here last Tuesday, and we were arguing about the fact that I was charging too much for the pumpkins I had in front of my brother's store. Does that sound like somebody who's fighting? No, we get along just fine. Thank you.